Hi guys, my name is Karith Voth, and this is my final presentation for GNED 221. I wanted to thank you guys for taking the time to just watch this presentation and give me the feedback to help me build a strong argument in my paper. So to start off, I just wanted to identify the topic that I'm doing, which is in regards to Roger Scruton's book Beauty and his criticisms on kitsch art. I bolded the parts that I'll be talking about in my essay, which are that to summarize Scruton's positions and explain why he would dismiss my chosen works as kitsch, and then finally describe the merits of these works. So to start off in my opening paragraph, which I hope you guys will have the opportunity to read in my written proposal, I want to explain why Scruton describes beauty the way he does and kind of his stance on it, just to help the reader understand why this is such an important topic. So I picked this quote from page 159 to 160 that I think best fits this, which is, "True art is an appeal to our higher nature, an attempt to affirm the other kingdom in which moral and spiritual orders prevail. Others exist in this realm not as compliant dolls but as spiritual beings, whose claims on us are endless and unavoidable. This is why art matters. Without the conscious pursuit of beauty, we risk falling into a world of addictive pleasures and routine desecration, a world in which the worthwhileness of human nature is no longer clearly perceivable." So for this quote, what my plan is to break it down and kind of help the reader understand each of the points he's making in this, because as one chunk I do find it to be a little overwhelming as he does make some pretty strong claims. So that's my goal in the first paragraph. The second kind of miniature paragraph, what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain the artist I chose, which is on the screen right here. So artist Felix Gonzalez Torres was born in 1957. He passed away in 1976. He's a Cuban-born American visual artist who is very known for his minimalistic art style, which was often made from everyday objects. So, as we'll see later in the presentation, we'll see works of art made from clocks, paper stacks, and if you do Google his name, you find some other cool art that he's made with light bulbs and other objects like that. In total, he made 84 works of art in his lifetime, but for the purpose of this essay, I'll be doing the two most recent ones that I think really fit with the kitsch argument. So to start off, I wanted to start with this piece called Perfect Lovers, which was made in 1991. And before I describe the meaning of this, I wanted to start by just looking at the piece and explaining why I think that photo in itself is kitsch. So if we look on the right here, we do see the photo. It is two clocks set at the same time behind a blue or in front of a blue background. And if you're anything like me, your first reaction will be, well, that's just two clocks. I could easily imitate this art, go to Walmart, pick some up. It's not something that is hard to do. And I think I would agree with you there, and I think Scruton would make the same claim in his work, because he does talk about in the book about, in page 157, that art with no message of its own, in which all the effects were copied and all the emotions are faked, is a way he would describe kitsch art. And I think that's something that is very reflected in this art. There is no really artistic creativity, I would guess I would phrase that, and there's no really hard work put into it. It's something that was easily made, and I think that would classify it as kitsch. But I wanted to talk about the meaning behind Felix's art and why he made it the way he did. So after doing some research on why he made this piece and kind of his personal meaning behind this, I wrote this brief synopsis here that says that two clocks that were set in synchronization would eventually fall out of sync, as much older clocks do, but this is used to show how, just like the clocks, two perfect lovers may fall out of sync with each other. Although this is true, they still stay together. Just because two people fall out of sync does not mean they are no longer perfect for one another. Love is love even when life takes you on different paths. And personally, I think that's a very beautiful meaning. I think that you can tell he put thought into it, and he really tried to strive for a piece that would best resemble that in his personal opinion, and I do think that you could argue that there is some beauty because of that. Sorry about that. So the second piece I have here is called Untitled Death by Gun, which was made in 1990. And so this art has a stack of paper, and each of these papers has a photo and the name, the identity, and the death date of somebody who is killed with gun violence in the US. As you can see, it is a quite big stack. But so my arguments for why this would be kitsch is very similar to the other one, and this is easily mass-produced. This isn't something that the artist sat down and took a lot of time with. Obviously, I believe anyone could really just kind of print off some photos, do a little bit of research, and have those stacks there. In fact, viewers are actually encouraged to take the top piece of paper from the stack and keep it at their house, which I think further goes to show that this is so mass-produced. Everybody who's seen this has a portion of it in their house, so I think the originality of it really decreases because of that. The quote I have to go with this one is by Roger Scruton, of course, and it says, "Wanting it for its beauty is not wanting to inspect it, it is wanting to contemplate it, and that is something more than a search for information or an expression of appetite. Here is a want without a goal, a desire that cannot be fulfilled since there is nothing that would count it as fulfillment." And I think this one really goes with this piece, because now that we know the meaning and we understand why the artist did it, there's really no other contemplation that comes out of that. We know why he did it. We know the point he was trying to make. There's nothing that invokes our spirit to look more into it and to kind of rationalize why he made this piece. It is just a piece of paper in the end of it. But the 2 points that I want to make that I find that is actually beautiful, even though it can be classified as kitsch, is that the artwork is still being distributed. Even after Felix's passing in 1996, people are still kind of redoing this, adding more stacks to it, making sure that art continually stays. I think there's something beautiful in keeping art alive even after the original artist has passed away. There's just something beautiful in wanting to keep that going. And the second point I have is it really connects you to humanity, that you look at the people on this page and you kind of take a minute to kind of read all the names, look at all the pictures, and it really connects you to our society, and to just remember each of the people, each of those photos is someone. And I think there's something beautiful when we just stop and take a minute to just reflect on that society. So that's the end of my presentation. I thank you guys again for watching, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say.